Alright guys, so I want to make a really quick video. I just got back from my Barnes& and Nobles and I'm super excited because Trump is already making America great again. You know, he's done a lot of things that he's already made a lot of changes without even uh, getting into office yet. But at my local Barnes& and Nobles, they used to have a women's studies section. And when I went and got the book I had on hold, I looked around. I went to the social science section, and usually the women's studies is right next to it, and usually there's books sprinkled into the social science as well, feminist books, and I didn't see any feminist books in the social science section, and I didn't see the women's studies section at all. They changed it to African studies, and the African studies used to be in the social science section. And this is big. I looked in the psychology, I looked in the religion area, I looked like all over. And um, I thought especially, psychology would have some, that's where they would move the section to. But I just think they eliminated it. So my ankle's a little messed up, so I haven't been able to check the whole area yet. But unless it's somewhere that, I don't know, by the economy books or the business books or something, I don't see why they'd put it there. Or by romance or something would make sense, but that's like all fiction over there instead of nonfiction. So, but maybe that's where feminist books belong, right? So the overall there, I think my Barnes and Nobles got rid of the women's studies section. I'd love to hear from you guys if if your Barnes and Nobles had a women's studies section, um, and did they get rid of it? Is this like a nationwide thing that they're doing now that Trump is elected? And it's not so much about Trump himself. I mean, the reason I'm applying this to success to Trump is because if Hillary was elected, I don't think this ever would have happened. We would have had a feminist narrative pushed at us. Maybe the section would have even been expanded. Feminist books would have sold like crazy. First woman president and all of that kind of stuff, even though she's a terrible candidate. And now that Hillary lost and Trump won, it's like, it, there's a lot of, you know, it's about the truth, the facts. Feminism doesn't deal in facts, it deals in feelings. It deals in their own, like, they have this closed loop of, when they do try to talk about facts and stuff, it's like they point to other women's studies or like other feminist research. So it's this closed loop of a lot of false research. It's like a cigarette company pointing to like research done by a different cigarette company. Well, it's all biased, hardcore, and it's not just that it has a bias, but they're usually created with a narrative in mind. Like they already have the conclusion that they're trying to prove. And that's how I feel about, you know, feminist research, largely. And they look at everything through a specific lens that is faulty to begin with. Um, so I think what you're going to see in the future is this feminist narrative stronghold that's going to start collapsing. The feminist politicians are going to be voted out. Like, I think Senator Tammy Baldwin, I hope we can get her out in Wisconsin. Senator Gillibrand was terrible. You had like Senator McCaskill has done a lot of terrible things. She's another feminist. You have all these feminists in, and I think they're really going to be on a hot seat. Um, I think Barbara Boxer has done a lot of feminist things that have been terrible as well. So, I, this is not about Trump. It's about the wave that supported Trump and the message that's been sent to the elites that, you know, we really don't support feminism. We don't support regressivism. We're not going to stand for it. We don't want this mass immigration, which it's kind of funny when we're talking about feminism and stuff. You can't talk about feminism without talking about immigration and black rights and, you know, Native American rights and Hispanic rights, because like this intersectional thing, it's like most of intersectional feminism has nothing to do with feminism if feminism is about equality for women. So the thing is, it's an ideology, which I think a lot of people are catching on to. And once you realize feminism is this ideology and you apply that to, you know, black rights, Hispanic rights, you can apply it to anything. There's this lens, you know, that how you look at information, and it's a faulty lens. And that's why they have all these other groups as their quote unquote allies, but it's basically, you know, one big movement, all under the branding of feminism, intersectional feminism. So, I mean, there really is pretty much no difference between regressivism, also known as the Progressive Party, and intersectional feminism. So, anyways, I'm super excited. I wanted to let you guys know about that, and I I think the future is bright for this for these false feminist narratives. You know, the businesses are gonna stop backing them, and once that happens, their funding will get cut. And I think we're gonna have a lot of more free speech in the future on the universities, and they're gonna start to realize and start to talk about how women's studies and other studies like that, other programs, are some of the worst programs, some of the lowest standards among all of the different programs in the universities. So if we, you know, once this gets rolling, it's gonna come crashing down really quickly. And you know, we're up. The Trump train's rolling pretty good right now, so it's almost at full throttle. So we'll just watch out how the next 4 years plays out, and if he does a good job, we'll probably reelect him. And 8 years under Trump is no way feminism lasts through all of that. And we'll have like women's studies coming around, and women's studies will, or not women's studies, but women's rights, you know, just in general, and women's rights advocates, they'll kind of take over, and it won't be so much an ideology, it'll be more through the egalitarian movement, and more just looking at individual issues and then collecting individual issues into some sort of movement. I think that's probably the future. But women have like they have most of their rights. There are some cultural issues. I think you're gonna see once feminism dies down, you're gonna see women's rights advocates and stuff really taking on cultural issues. You know, cultural changes they want to see. It won't be legal changes. So, um, anyway, there's some food for thought. Um, Let me know about your Barnes and Nobles. Did they get rid of the women's studies, and or you know, let me know if they never had one. So I will talk to you guys later.